Everyone has a story to tell. I don't want to hear yours next. I want to kind of talk about your sobering story. So, you've been clean for 10 years now.
11.
11 years.
2012. This is what, 2014. So, yeah, I'm on my 12th year.
All right. And before I get any further, I am recording this. Just to let you know. But what made you decide, 11 years ago, that enough was enough? That you just didn't want to do it no more? You were tired of what was going on?
I was almost 70, right close to 70 years old. It was 2012, February the 24th, and I turned 70 in October the 14th. And I've been sober ever since, and it was one of the best things. I don't know that I'd be alive. Truthfully, I wouldn't. I seriously doubt that I would be alive. Like, your body can only take so much punishment, and alcohol does a lot of things to different people, but it's not something that's going to make you healthier. It's not it has no real value. Maybe a beer has some nutritional value, but alcohol is a killer. It's a drug. And we tend to, one more isn't going to be, it's never enough. So it's once you reach that stage. I think of all my cousins. I had 2 cousins, one 4 months older, one 4 months younger. Been gone years. My brother was born in March the 9th of 1950. Long gone. He only made it to 50-some years old, and I'm 80. But I've been quitting all my life. I worked in a brewery and never tasted it. Never even thought about it. It's making too much money.
If you're just tuning in, this is the story of James Bryan. And he's currently talking about just becoming sober. Finally just throwing it all in, giving it up, coming clean. As we continue, we talk about what was your first steps, though? What was the first steps to coming clean? Finally just
wanting to. You reach a place in life that it's like it has no value. It's there's I can't think of anything that there's a value to. I mean, it doesn't make you healthier. What problems you had when you started drinking, they're going to be there when they'll catch up with you. So there's no incentive really to. It's dead end streets. I mean, I see it with other people, and I wonder why they don't get it. But I didn't get it till I was almost 70. So
I should really say, when did it really start for you? When did you begin your journey with drinking?
Oh, first grade.
First grade?
Route 6. Out in where Victory is.
Mm-hmm.
Right before the last curve to turn on 6 going to Fremont. There was this little cottage. My brother wasn't born. He was born March the 9th of 1950. And I'd already gotten drunk with his dad by that time,
In first grade?
Yeah.
And what, you were like 6?
6 or 7. Yeah.
Did he just give it to you, or did you just?
No, you could buy. You take the bottles back. You could get 6 bottles or 12 bottles. They didn't have packs, like they do now. The packaging industry.
So your drinking started in first grade. That's like wow. Man.
Yeah, I was in the first grade.
So from there on, you were just it was just like a normal thing. Or?
He worked downtown. He was working in Medusa Portland Cement out in Bayview, Bay Bridge. Bay Bridge is the Medusa Portland Cement community, and then Bayview is further down towards the old bridge. But yeah, we lived out there in Vickery, almost to Vickery, and I got drunk with him. My mom and my sister came into LaSalle's to take pictures, and got drunk. Yeah, yeah, it was a strange thing, you know. It's like a relief or something. But now it's like nothing but trouble.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
What good comes of picking up that first drink for me is like no, nothing good's gonna come of that.
Well, I'm thinking to myself, like, man, here you are, first grade, getting drunk. And I remember to myself, I was like, just thinking now, like, the first time I think I even sipped it was from my grandpa's beer, and that was like a Budweiser. And I was probably about 8 or 10, somewhere around there. But I didn't get drunk. I just thought the stuff was nasty, and then I moved on. I just said, that's not for me.
And I worked for Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch. I was a foreman in Van Nuys, California. I was sober. All that period, I was over 10 years. And I was buying houses and doing this and doing that. And
so you, in a way, you like when you got sober the first time, you decided like in that time period. And what's crazy is you're working for a beer company, making all this income, and you're out here, like you said, buying houses and doing the right stuff. When other people probably at the time were doing the opposite, buying the alcohol, getting drunk.
Alcohol makes you think. Your thinking is messed up, you know, and you don't make good decisions. First of all, we all think we're Mario Andretti and want to get out within the car and drive, and that's the worst thing you can do. They're not going to come into your house to look for you when you're getting drunk.
No.
It's when you're a menace to society and you're out there, you know. I think of all the accidents that I've seen, you know, and a lot of more alcohol. You know, it's like they've got to be hard on those people because they don't belong out there.
How many times have you, in your lifetime,
done it?
Drove?
Oh, please. Yeah, see, I could always quit when the initiative was right. But you know, sometimes you this is the longest period in my life. You know, and I feel pretty relaxed about things. You know, it's like no good is going to come out of me picking up a bottle.
Well, I'm thinking too. At the same time, it's a good time that you did give it up. You know, well, that was about 70 years, 70, or no, because you said you were sober for 10.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, I was buying houses and I was doing this and doing that. I went to Europe. I took my sister and got drunk before going. You know, and almost missed the whole thing. You know, because I'd gotten drunk and I drank my way through Europe. You know, it's like London was our first thing, and yeah, over 3 weeks we were out there, and I got drunk with some people, and just women, of course. You know, it just it's a waste. You're not getting the same thing out of it when you're conscious and you're not your mind distorted.
See, that was what I always thought too. I'm still young, but when I did it, you know, I thought it was just it was a cool way of meeting new people. But the more I went and got out there and did it, and put it in my system, I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling. Didn't like the fact that just made me feel like total like I couldn't function properly. And not only that, but the next day just feeling like just in a lazy funk where you just don't feel like doing nothing.
What good would come of it? It's like it's a waste. I'm lucky that I know that I wouldn't be alive today if I hadn't been able to stop when I did. All the times that I did stop gave me a lease. My sister's not much of a drinker either, but she's an ugly drunk too. My brother, phew, I used to send him bottles of whiskey to Vietnam in a 5-gallon square. And I think about all, I thought I was doing the right thing for him because, when the helicopter, the Hueys came in and they'd see that container, they were happy. They knew there was a bottle of whiskey in there.
Hey, here we go.
And this is 68, 69, that period.
So this is
probably more 69.
Was that Vietnam?
Yeah. Yeah, I was living in Los Angeles. And I was working in East LA. And they would see me and I'd go take bottles of whiskey in there, pack them up, and my buddy was a mail clerk. So I'd send him through the company and nobody said anything, it was like it was part of the war effort. A lot of the containers that we were making were because of Vietnam. Kept that factory going. You could always tell because they don't no ring pulls. They pop with it, the turbulence and stuff when they're being shipped over there on the ships.
So a question that's coming across to me. Somebody's probably wondered right now, what kind of personality did you have when you was drunk? Because everybody has a different personality.
It depended on where I was, not physically where I was, but where my mind, what was going on with me.
That way, whoever's listening right now can get like a visualization of what you were like. Get a good idea, a picture in their head of what you were like in the bar. Were you the laid back drunk, the funny? Were you looking to fight?
Jimmy's bar. A bunch of us got in a brawl out there, drunk. And I don't know I don't know, I don't even know. It was probably people that didn't belong there. We felt. Yeah. That time, yeah. But I've been around a lot of dumbasses that, that can't handle it, and they're always, negative shit with them.
I think, like, really that comes out, like, just what's going on underneath. Them true colors come out. The hate, what you got going on. For me, believe it or not, I was actually just a kind of laid back drunk. I was always like what you would describe as the Gatsby. If you ever read that book, I was this mystery guy that would end up with, just random crowd of people. And I would end up at somebody's house having a party there or party over there. It didn't matter what night it was. Like, if I had drinks in me, that's what would happen. I would end up being this mystery guy that everybody knows. And they're like, but when they actually were like, who is this guy? I was like, oh no, man, but he's cool.
Yeah, he came over here with this car. Did he drive? The driving.
No, I learned my lesson.
That's
my lesson. I did that one time. And that was it. That's all it took for me.
I sit here and I can hear him over here at Bud's. Not lately. No, just not as often as it used to be. Well, the time of the year, and they almost closed it. There was not enough business to keep it going for a while. But I haven't a clue who goes there or what. I mean, it's. But yeah, when I was a kid, I used to, go into church and stuff and walking by there. there was a crowd there. The guy lives down here on West Monroe, just a couple doors down from where the old. Do you remember Otto's?
Yep.
It was I think he still lives there. Always had a nice new truck, and he often wonder. He would think about those things. You remember the Harbor Inn?
I do not.
It's on Broadway, over here by the.
Right. Well, it was over there.
Yeah. And then there used to be guys deliver papers down by the water. There was another bar, and that was you'd run into people there. I mean, I'd walk in there, put the paper down, and run. I mean, there's some strange people coming off them boats. They help,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's their day off and whatever, you know, and they've been out there for months, going up and down the Great Lakes and stuff, and it was like freaky people, you know, not somebody you want to hang with.
No, I was just thinking too, like being out on the water all that time, and who knows what's going through their minds. And
yeah, I've had a lot of different experiences in this neighborhood. Jimmy's Bar was one of my good hangouts. You know.
just in case anybody's listening, Jimmy's Bar is a place here in this town, Sandusky, Ohio.
On West Monroe Street. No, yeah, West Monroe Street.
We could say it's a historic bar. It's been there for how long? It's a classic.
It was there in the 50s when my stepdad was going there, playing darts.
So if you're ever in the town, I'm not saying to go there for a drink, but I'm just saying if you're looking for, if you're a history nut, it's one of them old bars that have a lot of history to it. And like he said, it was one of his favorite spots.
Strange, you know, all the things that have changed.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too. Like there used to be like, even when I first got out of high school, there was a lot of bars. But compared to now, Sandusky has really changed the environment a lot. I think there's like really maybe a couple.
Plus the police are more, you know, it's harder to go out there and get a buzz and get into your car. I mean,
No,
there's hardly any tourists came this year, did they?
no. See, that's what I was gonna say. The first time, I learned my lesson was, I was down at a place. It was called the Water Street Bar, and that's right across from Daly's.
It was on Water Street then.
Yeah, so I was right there. Me and my buddy Ellis were, sitting at the bar having our, funs. I'm underage still. I'm only 19. But I'm getting past these drinks like, yeah, he's above age. He's of age. And I'm just putting down, Dr. Pepper and some Captain Morgan. And I'm just drinking them. I had like maybe about 5 of them. But something that night before we were leaving told me I better sober up. Better just start drinking just regular pop. So that's what I did. I ended up drinking like maybe 3 Dr. Peppers. Because, I'm just listening to this inner voice telling me, okay, you might want to sober up a little bit. Little did I know as I was leaving that the guy that was supposed to be driving the car was very drunk. So it was either me driving or him driving. I ended up getting in the car. I only have a permit at the time. I don't have an actual license. And I'm like, oh no, my driver is drunk, so if anything does happen, this ain't gonna be pretty. But I just took it as like, okay, I got this. I turned on the lights, started up the car, and I was ready to go. But I remember it was raining, and I turned the wipers on, but at the same time, for some reason, I turned the lights back off. So as you can guess, I made it probably about 2 blocks before the lights were flashing.
No lights.
And the officer comes up to the driver's side window and he asks, "Sir, have you been drinking tonight?" because you can smell my buddy. It's the alcohol. You can smell it right off the breath. And I'm like, no, I haven't. And my heart's going through the roof because I'm on a permit and I'm underage. And I'm thinking to myself, damn.
Underage?
I'm not of age. I'm not 21. I was 19.
See, we used to be able to drink beer at 18.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking.
Yep. So there I am at 19. The cop's at the driver door, ready to hand me. He's like, he asked me a second time. He's like, "Have you been drinking tonight?" And I tell him, "No, I haven't." Lying my ass off. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna breathalyze you guys and make sure." And then I'm just in that moment, I'm thinking to myself, "Please God, I know I asked for a lot of stuff, but can you help me out of this situation at this moment?"
I'll cover you later.
I'll do whatever I have to do later, but please help me out of this situation. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna get breathalyzed, and what's gonna happen is, because I'm underage, I'm gonna get in trouble for that. I'm gonna have to probably end up taking classes, and not only that, but I'm on a permit. I don't have an actual driver's license, so that's gonna get automatically revoked for me. So he comes up, I do the breathalyzer. My buddy, who is, way past drunk, does the breathalyzer, and then we get the results in. I'm good.
How long ago?
This,
Just years.
10 years ago. 10 years. Yeah, it's kind of funny. 10 years ago. You were sobering up 10 years ago? Yeah, 10 years ago. As he's coming back up, though, the cop comes up and he says, "I'm good, but the actual driver is supposed to be responsible for my driving is too drunk." So I had to go and park the car and call a cab. So he had to ride home. I think really, honestly, that officer, I can't remember who it was, he let us off the hook.
So it's been 10 years?
Yeah. 10 years, well, that accident happened. I've been clean 2 years. 2 years now. But I was never an alcoholic. I was never one that just have to get a drink. I was never that bad. I could, casual drink and that'd be cool. I never, like I said before, I never got into that point where, I needed a drink. I wasn't one of those where I have to go out every weekend and have a beer or every day.
Do you think that all in all, like this past summer, that things were different?
At the bars?
I don't know. It's been so quiet that I've heard them over here. You can hear the music and stuff.
What I've heard a lot now is what they're doing, where at the time where you could actually just walk into a bar. Now, to make it a little bit different, I heard they have a cover fee that you actually, like on certain nights, like a Friday or Saturday, when it's supposed to be busy in a place and everybody wants to hang out, in order to keep it low, I've heard stuff like Dailies is charging like $20 at the door just to get in. I don't know how true that is, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, well, at that point, because I got to the point when I turned 21, when I actually became of age, I just started having beer at home. I just started like, why do I need to go to a bar? I was like,
I was at 18. 3-2 beer. I worked in a brewery for over 7 years. There is no 3-2 beer.
What is that? Is that the term? Okay, just so some people don't, if they don't understand what you mean.
3-2 versus.
Yeah, 3-2 beer. What is that actually?
That's supposed to be the alcoholic content, because we had people that could drink at 18 back in the day, so we had a low alcohol content beer for them. But after working in a brewery,
there's no such thing.
There is no such thing. And we had people going around checking the alcohol. They would take samples to when we were running it, because it would see what the alcohol content was. But we didn't have in California. It was just one thing, and now it's like nationally that it's just one thing, and it's if they tell you it's 6%, they're full of shit. There is no such thing. I worked in a brewery.
Well, I'm thinking too, like if it's 6%, how much water is in it? Do you think they watered it down?
90-some percent. The way they, having worked in a brewery, and being sober, I picked up a lot of fingers. When you're filling, and it's 100-spout filler, and it's running around at 10 revolutions a minute, 1,000. It's incredible the speed. A lot of people get hurt, hands mangled. I saw things that.
All right, so let's talk about that a little bit. So
the alcohol content, yeah, it's pretty much universal now, because everybody can only drink after 21. So there's no need for this low alcohol content for the 18-year-olds. They're getting as much trouble, if not more, because they thought they could drink more. I can remember we would go to the drugstores and steal the gallons of the syrup, go to somebody's yard and rinse it out, and then go get a gallon of beer for $1. Well, that was late 50s.
The times have changed.
Oh, the roads are much safer. You don't read as much about people, DUIs and stuff, because they're so costly. I mean, who can afford to get 2 DUIs and lose their insurance?
Well, and this is also at a time where the speed limit wasn't really existent too.
It wasn't enforced, maybe, but it's like.
Because like the average speed limit was like what, 55 in the 50s.
And remember, I also lived in Laredo, Texas, on the Mexican border. I was there for my junior year.
So you were getting all the actual stuff coming in.
Well, no, I'd go over.
Or you're going over, yeah.
Yeah. What started out, my uncles, I had 2 uncles that were Mexican nationals, and then what we call Anglos, Anglo-Saxons. That's the language we speak, is English. Anglo-Saxons. But the terms, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's things are a lot tighter nowadays, and I don't hear all the noise over here at Bud's. It seems kind of
quiet.
Very quiet.
Well, I think too, I don't know if they're actually doing the cover fees, but I think we're living in a time where people are kind of nervous about going out. It's not like how it used to be, where people are like, yeah, we can go out and social with everybody, because now everybody's kind of like, is this person, because with COVID and everything, everybody's kind of not the same anymore. So now they're kind of probably like in my boat, where they're like, well, if I want to have a drink, I'll just buy me a case, sit at the house.
I hear them over at Bud's on the weekend, the bikes,
mm-hmm.
When they're closing up. It's not a good time to be in the tavern business. But I hear the motorcycles and stuff, and it's like you're taking a big chance nowadays with insurance and everything. It's they're not as lenient on it, I don't think. But at least I don't get the paper anymore. There's not enough in there to bother with. But it's like, what are people doing? I don't know how they keep it open.
No, Bud's is starting to fade out.
Yeah, I don't hear no music, no nothing.
All right. So I'm thinking too. Another question that just popped in my head. Let's hear some of your crazy adventure night stories that you had drinking.
In my life,
Yeah.
the, 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 the best stories, I guess, is going to Mexico, and my cousins would take me over there first for fireworks when I go down there to visit. Then I was down there my junior year in high school for a geographical cure, get him out of Sandusky and go down there. And I would go over there, and the fireworks weren't working anymore. Now it was like my junior year. I was going nightclubbing and stuff. I had a girlfriend, somebody's sister or cousin or something. We went over there and partied, and I think about the stuff that I used to pull. Now I got a grandson running the turnpike with a drug dog. My son's a retired state trooper. He was a lieutenant over there in Norwalk. He came over here the other day, and he came like rushing in. What the hell's wrong with you, And he's looking at me, and he'd seen a car like mine. I'm thinking, what the hell are you thinking? It's like, it's the longest period of sobriety I've had. And it's like, no good is going to come of me picking up another drink.
No.
It's,
And that's what I was gonna get back to. So the first time you got sober, was it just to work for the factory, or what was going on then? To work for the brewery?
no, actually, I worked in East LA at the can company, and I've always been good with numbers. I had a math teacher over here at the new high school, 1958, and his father was a superintendent of schools or something. But I beat the pants off of those people. It was sophomore, junior, and seniors in that class, and numbers have always been good with me. I've always worked with numbers. I worked production control at a can company. I was there twice, and it's always numbers that separate me. They give me a test, and I'm good with numbers. It's I think sometimes things can be, you can teach people, and other times I think I can't spell a lick. I don't know, it's because I spoke Spanish before I did English, and I'm bilingual, but I've never been able to spell. But numbers, it's like I can kick the crap out of a bunch of people, it's like, it's my bag. It always has been. I mean, I took that math class with superintendent of schools' son, and I was a sophomore and kicked ass. There's some people who just don't get it, but I don't get spellings, so it's like, I think it's something that you're either born with, or I don't know that it can be taught. I don't know enough about it, but it just comes easy to me. Just something that doesn't sound right to me.
No, I was just thinking too, because the first time you got sober, and you worked at that factory.
Sober.
Like sober. Well.
I'm not talking about quitting for a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was okay, since we're on that topic, before, like, your first time going sober, how long did you go without a drink? When you were...
As an adult?
Yeah.
the longest in my life.
Like before that?
Before that, maybe 7 years or something.
And then what made you decide? Just
This time,
no, the first 7 years that you did it.
probably maybe getting a DUI.
Oh, you got the DUI, and then you were just like, okay.
And then, they get your attention.
That,
You don't have driving privileges. It's privileges, It's not a right. It's a privilege to have license.
so now when you're sober, what helped you decide, like, okay, this is it?
Health. You reach a stage where, it's like, if you don't take care of yourself, this is the only body that they issue you. And if you don't take care of it, shame on you. As my brother used to say, you can pay me now or you can pay me later, but you're going to pay. And he was right. He came back with a lot of common sense stuff from Vietnam. He was there, I think, 13 months. And of course, I was helping him, sending him bottles of whiskey.
Now, kind of describe what the first couple months were like. Did somebody like point you in a direction for a meeting, or?
No, I think it has to come from within. That you've had enough, or that it's just not a. Yeah, I mean, this is a gift to be here. It's I'm trying to make the most out of it. I never thought I'd be 80, and here I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. I mean, I had two cousins, one older and one younger, but we were all born within a 9-month period. They've been gone a long, long time. It's you got to take care of your body. It's like taking care of a car. Only you can buy another car.
This is it. This is all you get, man. You gotta work with it.
Just they issue you one if you don't take care of it. I think all the times that I've quit drinking have helped me to get where I'm at.
Now, like, that's what I was gonna add too. With all the years you drinking, looking back at it as you're 80 now, are you surprised that with all that that you consumed, that you're here, that you're actually still on the plane, the earth?
My brother only made it to 57, and but he survived 13 months in Vietnam. But the alcohol killed him. Died over there at Soldiers Home, I told you, outside of the facility itself, where those houses are. Where the armory is? He lived. You could throw a rock. I used to go to meetings on Saturday over there at Salvation Army, men's group. And I look over there to where my brother lived. And that's where he OD'd.
What helped you get to your first meeting? When you now, what helps you get to?
Common sense. It's like I look at things differently.
When you were first quitting, were you just was it hard for you at first? Were you dealing with the withdrawals, or?
They didn't stick. I mean, once I felt confident enough, it's like, oh yeah, it's not gonna, just a couple of beers here. Stuff like that. I'm lucky I didn't get into drugs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You're growing up. You were growing up in a time period where that was pretty much. You were at the peak of it, as it was coming in.
Well, I was in Laredo too, and you could.
Yeah, like you said, you were by the border.
Not
and
by
you
the
were
border.
you were going over.
On the border. I mean, that's what we would do. We'd go over there and party, and they don't ask you for ID and all that stuff. They just want to see the color of your money.
And then
Yankee money is great money.
you got to think too how much of a blessing that is in disguise. that you didn't get hooked into drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, like you said, you were right there. Right there. But you were, you just didn't, just alcohol.
I went down there for a geographical cure. I was a junior in high school, and we only had one high school then. Now we got 4 or 5. I'm not sure. The town has grown. A lot of people from Ohio. The factories that they closed here, they put them down there on the Mexican side. The people that run them are living in Laredo, not Mexico. They go over there, run the factories and stuff, and take care of business. And yeah, it's there's a disproportion now because of border town. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming over. A lot of my hometown, always 60,000 people, and now it's like 160,000.
You said the late great Mark Hudson. Well, did he help you get to your meeting?
He was the only sponsor I've ever had. He died last summer. But he, we have a book. I have a copy over here. It's Alcoholics Anonymous, and we went through that book. He was very instrumental. Nice guy. He was born with issues also. He was very small, almost like a midget. And yeah, I look at he's the one that helped me. I don't think today I would be. I can remember meeting him over here at the community supper. Nice guy. And he was, tonight there's going to be a men's meeting over there. You'd be surprised at the people that you'd see there. I certainly did. What's he doing? Same thing you are. Getting sober and staying sober.
Now, when you seen certain people there, it really made you raise your eyebrows, like, wow. Because that's what people don't understand is we think we're in this alone. We're dealing with issues ourselves.
It's not selective.
It's it could be anybody.
It could be anybody. It's yeah. I was one of those. What's he doing here? Same thing you are.
And now by going to those meetings, that it really helped you.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of describe a little bit what the meetings are kind of like for say some whoever's listening right now, and they're thinking about going to one, but they're kind of nervous because they don't know what to expect.
You're going to be with people that you can relate to. For one thing, they're not any different than you are. They got a problem.
Yeah, nobody's going to be judging you.
No. It's not that selective where the priests or somebody are immune or something. That's not the way it works. You run into a lot of people, and I can remember saying, "What's he doing here?" It's the same thing you are. It's you hear their stories. It's an eye-opening experience.
Would you say it helped you stay clean? Or
yeah, I think it's more in the beginning where you really need the help, because now it's a way of life for me. It's I don't think about and I think Crystal's mom was here. I told you. You remember Crystal?
Yeah.
And I think, why doesn't she get it? well, Jim, she's 30-some years old. What were you doing when you were 30-some years old? Well, yeah, the mom was here, and I wish I'd have met her years ago. I would have asked her to marry me for real, get a real job and stuff.
Now, would you change that at all?
What part?
This being sober now for 11 years. Would you change? Would you go back in your life? And you said first grade. Would you stop your kid self from drinking?
Wasn't ready. Today it's like, why would I want to drink and ruin my life? I mean, I've still got some life left.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking too, like, with that consciousness, with that thought.
My son busted through here.
Yeah, he was making sure he wasn't drinking.
What the hell? What's wrong with this boy? People across.
I don't know. You raised him, man.
Can't take credit for that. I was part-time help at best. But yeah, he. I don't know what he thought. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I told him, hey man, don't be doing this. It's not a good thing for either one of us. And he lives over in He lives on the outside of the hell's the name of that town. My grandson lives over in Shelby. Yeah, but my son lives. How can I describe it?
Willard, Monroeville.
No, well, I guess Willard would be close by. He built a house outside.
New Haven.
I don't even know where. I know New Haven, but I don't remember even where it's at.
West Iris.
Yeah, see, that's big for this section of
To start with,
state troopers. Yeah,
Real?
I got into my son's ass over, like, what the hell are you thinking? Well, why did he just show up? Came through the door like gangbusters, like he's going to throw a raid or, like, what the hell are you thinking, boy? Don't do that. But, he's concerned that something, at 80 years old, you damn well better stay off the road. I mean, I think he could have gotten me a license, but he chose not to. I'm now don't have a license. It expired, and I doubt seriously they're going to give me a driver's license at 80 years old.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Not to go against anybody, but I always felt like when you hit a certain age, you should have to retake the driving test.
Oh, for real?
Because I mean, there's a lot of side swipes that happen when I'm out here on the roads. I see a lot of them go through this stuff.
Not everybody's the same. We don't all age the same. I'm 80, but I have two cousins. They didn't make it to 70.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think at a certain age, when you're driving, you get to a certain age.
He took my
maybe
car.
Maybe like 60.
You see the car out there?
65. I hope the car's gone.
Yeah, my nice little PT Cruiser.
I think you should have to retake the whole test, maneuverability, all that stuff.
Yeah, he did the right thing, At first I was angry, and then after thinking about it, it's like, well, hell, it's not like I'm going anywhere. You know what I mean? And I thought about it, and I thought, shit, man, maybe he saved my life.
You've seen the blessing in it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the positive end of it, as opposed to Jim having his way. I didn't know, officer. Mm-hmm. They've heard it all. But yeah, he's concerned about, hey man, 80's a long time. And being driving and taking it for granted, it's a privilege. It's not a right.
And you don't actually have a phone, too. So you could get something on. I'm talking like cell phone.
I've thought about that, but then I'm thinking, as much as I want one, where am I going?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. If you were like, I was trying to think from his point of view too.
Surprised. The only reason I'm surprised that he hasn't showed up. But now he lives in. It's not. He lives out in the country.
For his protection, let's say he lives out.
Willard. In the outskirts. He was a lieutenant in Norwalk for I don't know how long. I can remember going to his when my sobriety date this time is 2/24/12. My grandson got made state trooper that month also. Bryan Holden. And Bryan, he runs on the turnpike. Strange, the two that carry the name Bryan were state troopers.
So does that make you happy in a way?
Oh yeah, now.
Like thinking like from where you came from to what they ended up
here and
doing.
working in the fields and stuff, picking cherries in Bellevue and cabbage over here in where the hell was the cabbage? Not Venice.
Castelia.
Kind of in that area. Yeah, cherries were killer. That's all gone too.
What would your advice be to somebody right now that is like ready to get sober, but they don't know how?
Get help. Somebody to work with. Somebody that you can, if you need to talk to them or have contact with them. Yeah.
Do you have any like locations, places that you think they should reach out to? Yeah.
Holy Angels on Wednesdays.
Holy Angels on Wednesdays.
Men's group.
At what time?
8.
8 p.m.? Did it have any earlier times?
No, dude, it's they have other business there. Community supper for one.
No, I was saying like more. Is there like earlier times elsewhere? Because that might be too late for some people.
There was. I don't know if they still do, but you know where Damon's is?
Mm-hmm. Battery Park.
Yeah, there's a little, like, across the street. There's a little building there.
Yeah.
On the end, like on Market Street.
The apartment building.
No, Crystal lived there. I wanted to talk to Crystal's mom about Crystal, but she blew it off, so I left it alone. I think she's probably institutionalized. That's my thought. If not, it's time. She'll hurt herself. Or
would you say that'd be great advice for somebody also too that is struggling badly to get sober? That you think that is a good move for them? If you feel like you can't fully fight it yourself.
You can't do it by yourself.
If you can't fully and you just don't trust yourself, do you think it's better for them to get themselves put away for a little bit?
If you're a threat to yourself or mainly others, like driving, you need to be taken off the road.
No, not just driving. I'm just talking like they just have that urge constantly, and they're getting help, but still that want, that need is still there. So
the hook is still.
Yeah. Do you think they should get themselves locked in for, like 2 weeks to get some professional like counseling, or
we some people do need that, but I don't think everybody needs it.
like say this person is just from the time they wake
We
up.
have priests too.
Yeah, from the time they wake up
Or
to the time they go to bed,
they're craving it.
they're so used to having it that now that they're going completely sober and going cold turkey is what people call it. But that urge is still there. The hook, like you said, is still planted. And they're having the withdrawal symptoms, and it's driving them nuts. Do you think it's best for them just to...
My son would have been popping in here if I hadn't cut it off. I don't need that.
You think he would put you in a nursing home?
No, why?
If he would have found you? If you were drinking?
Drinking?
Yeah.
Well, then he's trying to save my life. But that incident and my reaction, I told him, like, I'm not in harm's way. And I would be honest enough. I'm 80 years old. I don't want to be a threat to somebody else. You take somebody's life, man, you got to live with that.
Yeah, by the time you're conscious
By the time you get out, you've lost a few years.
Most of the time, it's the rest of your life. So think twice before you get behind the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not crying about the vehicle.
No.
It's
well, like you said,
my first reaction was,
you're not going anywhere anyway.
Yeah, I told him I didn't want to see a funky ass here ever again. No, I was hard, but settling down and then thinking about it, he was concerned for me, and he had my best interest there, because he has to drive all the way from Willard, outskirts of Willard, to come here to save my dumb ass. And then to have that reaction, and that was hot.
But now after you thought about it, you're like, he was doing it to save my life. He was thinking about me.
Yeah, I was. I had a reaction. And I think the girl that across the street probably called him, but they're leaving. They're on their way out. It's the only answer. It had to have been her. But they'll probably take your number down and send it to him. But yeah, he was, I had a bad reaction, but I didn't put it in its right perspective, It's like, he's trying to save my ass,
Mm-hmm.
And at 80, you don't want to spend the last couple of years in prison,
I think that'd be like the worst.
Where's my remote?
Would they even put
at the
you?
House, idiot.
80 years old, man, and get locked up.
Yeah.
That's not how you want to go out.
Yeah,
he took spend your last years.
PT Cruiser with him, and after I calmed down and put things in its perspective, it's like, I might be just without the drinking, might be a threat to people out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
So 11 years clean. How are you feeling?
But physically, man, I'm lucky to be alive. It's I don't take all of this for granted. It may not be much to somebody, but to me, I have shelter. I have a warm place. I have a friend that brought me food. I haven't had to call. Hey, Pizza House West has not been called in the last 6 months, maybe longer, I don't know. But I mean, that's something. I mean, I look at things a lot different. I think why couldn't I have gotten this when I was 30, 40, 50? But I've had a lot of sobriety in there. This just happens to be the longest, and God knows I need it.
So the person that's
the community supper, Mark Hudson. You remember Mark?
Yep, we were just talking about it.
He took me over there, and it was like, what is this?
Okay, just in case anybody is wondering what the community supper is, it's exactly what the title is. We have one here at Holy Angels
2 thumbs up.
Catholic Church. They have it every Wednesday besides the first Wednesday of the month, and it's from 3 to 5. I definitely would say check it out. It is worth going. They always have, like today they had a pasta, breadsticks.
Don't tell me, what? It's not a surprise for me.
A salad, some cheesecake, and then they have like water, Kool-Aid, good drinks, and they provide you with, if you need some stuff for your cabinet, some bread, or if you need laundry detergent, or just basic stuff like that, they will provide. So if you get the chance and you're in Sandusky, Ohio, on a Wednesday, before 2 or 3,
Tiffin Ave.
come down Tiffin Ave, and you'll see the oldest church, I might add as well, the oldest church in Ohio, Holy Angels Catholic Church. And I do not sponsor them. This is not. I am just passing on the advice.
It's. I guess I'm really just grateful for all of everything. I don't take it lightly. It's just being alive. Look at this. I'm going to have a good time tonight.
Yeah, you could be sleeping like a little girl.
Yeah, I mean, things could be so much worse, dude. Sitting in the county jail is. I used to go to meetings at what we call Soldiers Home, that area inside.
Wait, so how many meetings did you actually go to while you were sobering up? Did you go to just one a day?
Sometimes 5 times a day.
5 times a day?
Shit. There was times, Catawba, they start out like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I would run over there and go to a meeting there. Then they had a nooners, downtown Port Clinton. That was an interesting meeting too, the nooners. It was at noon. And then I'd come back here at 1 o'clock over there across from Battery Park. That, I don't know what you call it. It's in that plaza. I feel I need to check on Crystal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. As we wrap up your sobering story, what is your words? What would your advice be to somebody?
Get help.
Get help.
For real. It's somebody that you can relate to, somebody that is willing to help you, to take you by the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go there. I mean, I've been sober I don't know how many times, but this is the longest period in my life. It's not only that, it's given me a life. Mark Hudson taking me over here to community supper. I thought they were playing bingo. For real. I kept going by there, and we used to have bars from over here, the where they used to strip. Do you remember the name of that place?
The tea house.
Yeah.
Which is no longer open.
No, I had family there. I also had girls that I took home from there. I was living in Castell at the time. Yeah. Things have changed a lot.
Well, I just want to say thank you for coming on and telling your story about sobering up. And
Get help. It's better to do it with somebody that can walk you through it and show you the ropes and how you did it. It's a fellowship. I'm surprised at some of the people that I've encountered there. I would never put it together, but I've had a lot of people that I owe a lot of people, and that's how you pay them back. You help somebody else.
anybody that's listening right now, and this is an open platform for anybody. You want to talk about your sobering story, just like how Jim did here, feel free to come on and talk about it. And we can do it exactly just how we did today. And you can be very helpful to somebody. But, like Jim said, get help. I just want to say, all that are, watching, listening right now, thank you. I hope that, this message today that was shared, this story, it helped you with your journey. And I just hope that, this is the changing point in your life, because life is precious, man. It might be rough at times and rough around the edges, but it truly is a blessing. And you're definitely needed here on this earth. Don't ever feel like you're not wanted. You're awesome. You have greatness inside of you. You have still great things to do. But this is Chris. I'm just signing off. Peace.